Hey Star, are you ready?
I'm a lady.
And welcome to iDOL Days, the show about idol anime. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Star.
And today we're talking about PriPara.
PriPara,
Which, this is our fun experimental episode where we're talking through the first arc-ish of PriPara.
Arc-ish. Yeah, so PriPara is one of those shows that we've been avoiding for a long time because it's long as
so many. There's so many.
There's like, I don't even know how many episodes in like the first quote-unquote season. But I watched this show many, many years ago, and I remembered that there was kind of sort of an arc that took place over the first roughly 12 episodes, and I remembered correctly, and so I was like, let's just watch that, and then that'll be our little sampler, and then if we ever want to come back to this show, we can. And just like watch a little bit more. Because Sarah, we haven't talked about this show at all.
No.
We've been, pretty regimented about save it for the podcast.
Podcast only.
I enjoy this show as just like cute, simple, silly, don't take it too seriously type of idol show, but I'm very curious what your thoughts are.
My thoughts are, every time I just sat there and every episode I'd be like, I'm so old. I'm so old. It gives me the feeling of like, like when you're a guest at like your nephew's birthday party and all the kids are running around and you're like, I'm so old. That's how I feel about PriPara.
It's very much a show for kids, 100%. Definitely.
And they're so energetic, and it's just a lot of random gags and gaffes, and I'm like, I'm so old. I am elderly.
Yeah, I mean, we've watched a lot of different shows on this podcast, and I mean, you know me, I generally prefer, like, a more serious tone. I like plot, I like dramatic character shit. PriPara is one of those shows where you just kind of turn your brain off when you watch it, because it's like, none of the conflicts are especially, like stressful. It's all very, like, it feels similar, the pacing of it feels similar to a magical girl show.
Yes,
where
very much
every
so.
episode there is some kind of conflict, and then by the end of the episode the conflict gets resolved, and then they have a magical girl fight at the end, but in this case they have a little idol performance at the end. Also, I have mentally been calling this the Yu-Gi-Oh! Of idol shows. Would you like to guess why, Sarah?
Oh, that's fun. See, I had the whole, this is the Wuthering Heights of idol shows where I feel like it would have been fun, but I'm way too old for it. You need to tell me about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Okay, so you know how a lot of the shows that we watched as kids, like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and Beyblade and all these shows, they're very much a show that's trying to market something to children.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very much. That is the energy in PriPara. Because I remember when I lived in Japan and we would go like shopping around Tokyo sometimes, we would see the PriPara store.
Yeah. You got to get all the outfits and the tickets.
You got to get all the tickets. I'm not sure exactly what the real life implications are of this show. I'm not sure if it's like, I think they sell like outfits, but I'm not sure where the cards come in. I don't know if there's a mobile game or something. I should have looked this up before we started recording. But it was
at least an arcade game, which I'm sure they ported it into mobile at some point.
Probably.
Who knows if it still is or not.
You know what? We're gonna Google this right now.
I remember from my cursory search, it was an arcade game, and you would get the cards to like put into your account on the arcade game. Yeah,
it says PriPara is a Japanese arcade game. And a mobile game, Idol and PriPara, was released in 2023.
Ooh, recent.
Oh, that's very recent. 140 episodes.
And is that just the original series?
That's just the original series.
Oh my god, there's so many of them.
That does not include the new arc that's on Crunchyroll right now, which is like some Idol Time PriPara, which is different.
Different PriPara.
But yeah, very much like trying to market the sugar-coated sparkle nonsense to children. And because of the cards, I'm just like, yeah, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! But for, like, idol kids.
Yeah, I can believe it. I'm for it. You trade cards, trade your little dress tickets. Yeah. There you go.
Weird outfits, weird hair.
Yeah, weird outfits,
Magical
weird hair.
girl transformations, that was in Yu-Gi-Oh!
That wasn't Yu-Gi-Oh.
That was unironically in Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually, I thought about it, and then I was like, no, wait, there is
Ancient
literally
Egyptian artifacts? I mean, maybe.
That's in PriPara.
I haven't watched all the episodes, but maybe.
Maybe that's like that's like an end of season thing.
Folks, come in our Discord and spoil us if there's ancient Egyptian artifacts in PriPara.
Where are the... I can't even joke about that. There's iDOL, or there's like, you know, there's cute anime girls in the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I remember when I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh as a teen. Not even a teen, as like an elementary schooler. I built my Yu-Gi-Oh decks based on the pretty and the cute cards.
Hell yeah, me too, brother.
High five! And I'll have you know that with my deck of just cute shit, I was the best Yu-Gi-Oh player on my street.
Hell yeah. Were there any other kids on your street, Star?
Yes! There were several, I'll have you know. I kicked your ass at Yu-Gi-Oh! when we were in college.
Because you know what used to happen? Well, this is our Yu-Gi-Oh! Tangent. Prepare to duel, everyone. Our regular Yu-Gi-Oh! segment here on iDOL Days.
This is something we've been doing for like all 70
the
plus
whole time,
episodes. We have to go on our Yu-Gi-Oh! segment. So go on.
Yep. As we have stated before, I had Yu-Gi-Oh! cards just because my little brother loved Yu-Gi-Oh! and he would give me all the cards he hated. And then whenever I beat him with those cards, he would take them back.
So, which brother was this?
My youngest brother, the littlest one.
I'm going to tease him about that next time I see him.
There you go. And that's been our Yu-Gi-Oh! segment, everyone. See you next time on that.
Yu-Gi-Oh! segment done. But yeah, so PriPara is fun. PriPara is very much made for kids.
Oh, 100%.
Very much like targeted towards elementary schoolers. You cannot think about it too hard. It's very much just like sugary, cute girls doing cute shit, doing little performances. Honestly, some very good 3D for the time, considering that this show's like 10 years old.
Yes, 100%. And also, like, the music is good. I know it's Iris, which is an idol group that exists outside of PriPara anyways.
Love them.
But the music is very good, so there's a benefit too.
Yeah, all the tunes in the show are genuinely very good.
But I will say, it's one of those things where I watched it and I'm like, if I was younger, I'd be so into this. But right now, it just makes me feel exhausted because of how energetic it is. I am so... I'm telling you. I am 30 or 80 years old and I am tired.
I am 30 or 40 years old and I don't need this. That's the energy that's... I didn't think you would be bringing big boomer energy to our podcast today, Sarah.
I know, right?
Wow.
Look at me. But I think it's hard because it's not like it made me exhausted, really. It was more of I was watching it and I'm like, I saw this at the wrong age. That was just the feeling I got. Where I'm like, I wish I had seen this when I was younger. Because as I am right now, it just makes me realize how I am not 10. This would have been genre defining for Baby Star. Yeah, if I had seen this when I was 10, it would be my personality. But now that I'm seeing it when I am not 10, I'm like, I'm old. I'm so old. Yeah, it's very much that. But I still like it as a show that you can just kind of turn your brain off first. So, in this first arc, do we want to talk about the characters? Yeah, because thankfully there's only like 3 that you have to remember. So our main character is, I don't know, I didn't even write down their real life names. Her idol name is Lala. No, that's her real name. Oh, is it really? So Lala, she's an elementary schooler. And she is super Genki center personality, and she has 2 lavender-colored pigtails that are giant and go like all the way down to the floor. And she has so much energy. Crucial to note that their IRL personalities are personalities and appearances are slightly different from their PriPara personalities. Because the idea is, whenever I pitch this show to people, because, you know, when we do our panel, this is how I pitch it to people, is the characters, it's PriPara, the location is like this VR theme park for idols, essentially. It's not VR.
Yeah, kind of. It's like they don't ever say the word VR. It's not implied to be VR, but all the girls do get magical girl transformations when they enter PriPara, and like their hair and outfits will change.
If you were the 10-year-old who was collecting your Yu-Gi-Oh card-like tickets to play in the arcade, it's just like you. Chill.
Yeah. So it's basically like they go into PriPara and it's like their idealized forms, basically. So Lala, when she is outside, has like 2 little buns on the top of her head, like Sailor Moon, but without the dangles. It's very cute. And then when she goes into PriPara, the buns are freed and she becomes like long purple hair. Like twin tails, and she wears like these frilly little outfits, and she's very cute, but yes, she is 10 and she has infinite energy.
Yes.
And she's very like main character Genki type. She's so cute. And then our other like main character for this first arc, there's technically 3, but we don't get we don't get too much of the third one until the back half.
Yes.
Is Mireille. And I love her so much. Like, unironically, she's like a nerd, but she's like a cool nerd. But also when she goes into Idol Land, she's like cringe. And it's like the gap between like her 2 separate personalities is very fun. And you know me, I love a girl who does analytics.
Yeah, I have a revelation, but that's not going to come till the end of the podcast. So you can wait on that one. Sit on that one.
Oh no, you can't just say that to me,
Simmer in it.
Sarah. You can't just say that to me. Although it's funny because, like, completely unrelated, she does kind of look like if Star was made into a cute anime girl, specifically when I was in middle school. And she is in middle school. Long brown hair in the ponytail with the glasses. That's what I looked like. But I also had big old braces and was awkward as fuck.
Look, braces are hard to animate, so
yeah,
we can just, in our head, she has braces.
Yeah. But yeah, so Mireille is like she looks a lot more different in PriParaverse as a human, not as an idol, because they are separate creatures entirely. She's got like brown hair and a ponytail. She's like very strict, very disciplined. She's like the disciplinarian at their school. She's like always handing out like demerit tickets and whatever, being a hard ass. She's very analytical. She has like the woman with the equations floating around her head energy, but she's not clueless. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's just like a nerd, and I love her. And when she goes into PriPara, she has like this whole other persona that she kind of puts on, which is her very Genki, like idol personality. Her hair is blonde and she's got like these 2 little cat ear shaped buns on her head. And she's very much got like kind of sort of the nya energy. She ends all of her sentences with puri, and she's cringe, and I kind of like her.
I mean, she's middle school. You're allowed to be cringe.
True. But yeah, like of the main 3, I would say that she is my favorite. And I like her.
Our last of the main 3, so she doesn't, like Star said, it doesn't really show up for the first half of this first arc very much. But she is a major player towards the back half of the first 12 episodes or so we're talking about, and it is Sophie. And at the time of the show starting, she is already an idol in PriPara. And she's doing pretty good. She's not like apparently god tier idol, which is what it goes up to. There's tiers. Yeah. That's a separate thing. But she is very popular. At the very beginning, she is a solo idol. And everyone sees her as like perfect and refined. But you'll see she has another side to her, which we will talk about later.
Yes.
Oh, and she has like red hair.
Yeah,
bangs.
It's like long red, the Hime cut bangs.
And she looks the same in real life and outside.
Basically the same, yeah, but just like she's more refined as an idol, I suppose.
I think she gets a little taller. That's about it.
Maybe. But yeah, so the general concept of the world building is that PriPara is this physical location. It's a building that you go into, and when you are inside of PriPara, you basically turn into your idol self. And you can just go in and you can perform on stage and you can do whatever. And it's like a very, very popular thing
Which
for like...
just, again, concept-wise, if I had seen this when I was 10, it would be my personality. It just makes me look back and be like, I wish I was 10 when I saw this, but I'm so
if you're
old.
If you're listening to this podcast and you're 10,
please, first of all, Don't tell your parents we taught you these words. It wasn't us.
But second of all, watch PriPara, maybe.
It'll change your life.
It will change your life, and it will become your personality.
Because it really would have. 40 years ago,
yeah.
when I was 10, it would have changed my life.
Back in the olden times. Back when we had to watch our anime episodes on YouTube in 3 parts at 144p.
Well, see,
barely read the subtitles.
The tragedy is PriPara didn't even come out until we were out of college. So we would never have been able to. Single tier.
No. We had the next best thing. Tokyo Mew Mew and Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh!
We barely even had Tokyo Mew Mew because that was fucking Mew Mew power on 4 kids.
Which is why we have the Yu-Gi-Oh! Segment every single episode of this podcast. Yeah.
It's how we connect with our inner children. Is that we talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Every single episode on this podcast. If you guys are listening to this and you're thinking, they've never talked about Yu-Gi-Oh! On this podcast, yes, we have. If you've not been paying attention to our podcast, we do the Yu-Gi-Oh! Segment every episode. What show have you been listening to?
And if you've never listened to our podcast and you want to hear more great Yu-Gi-Oh! Facts, start from episode 1 and just listen all the way through, and I'm sure you'll hear them.
Yeah. What are we doing?
We were describing the land of PriPara.
PriPara is a building, and it's basically VR, but it's not actually VR. You just go into, like, the closet, the transformation closet, and they boop you into PriPara, and you have a little magical girl transformation, and you transform into your idealized self, which sometimes is just you, but with nicer hair. And then you go in, and you can perform on stage as an idol, and there's, like, an idol ranking system, so you start from the bottom, and the more performances you do, I think it's based on, like, your social media popularity, but without saying the phrase social media, because it's, like, the more likes you get, the higher your rank goes. And this is only very lightly touched on ever in the show. But the general idea is the more performances you do, the higher your rank goes. And the general flow of each episode is at the start of the episode, they won't be in PriPara. Some sort of conflict will come up. They'll run around, solve the conflict, and then at the end of the episode, they do a little idol song and dance. Every single episode has an idol song and dance at the end of it.
Sometimes they're the same song and dance for multiple episodes in a row. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can give them a pass because the show is over 100 episodes long. But yeah, so they do, like, because all of the song and dance sequences are animated in 3D, you will oftentimes get different outfits. They do reuse the outfits. I wish they used them a little bit less frequently because some of the outfits are bangers and some of them are not.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so you'll usually get, like, in this first 12 episodes at least, like, it was, I think, like, 2 or 3 main songs that they used repeatedly throughout the series. And they had, like, a small smattering of outfits that they kind of swapped between depending on what the theme of the episode was. But yeah, just in general, like, the 3D of this show was pretty ahead of its time, honestly.
Yeah, show was in 2014, I think, and it still holds up really well. 10 years later.
It still holds up really well, and you have to remember that this show came out around the time that original Love Live was coming out, and we just take a pause and we think about what those 3D song and dances looked like in the original Love Live, and we just,
So for our first episode, we start with the conflict, which is every girl wants to go to PriPara, but you can only go if you get a special invitation in the mail.
And not in the mail. Sometimes you just find them on your dog.
It just shows up. And
it's not... I hate this analogy, but I can't think of anything else more similar. It's a bit like getting your Hogwarts letter.
You never know when it's going to happen.
It just shows up.
Yep.
One day you will just get it. It never comes in the mail. It will sometimes even just fall from the sky. And this ticket is your entry into PriPara.
It's like, well, you can also get it from people you know, it seems like, too, the ticket. So it's a little bit closer to, like, your Blue Sky invitation back when it was, like, closed.
I like that one better. I know I, too, was taking my dog for a walk when I found a Blue Sky invitation code just on her.
Yep, That's what used to
Because
happen. Yep.
that is how someone gets their pre-ticket in like the first episode. You see like a montage, like one girl like rolls over and it's sitting next to, it's like laying on her bed next to her pillow. And she's like, oh, how'd this get here? The PriPara fairy must have brought it. And then another girl's like walking her dog and she looks down and there's just like a pre-ticket just on her dog. And she's like, oh, my pre-ticket! It was given to me by the dog gods.
Which like I don't know why it's so hard for these girls to get these tickets, but no.
Yeah, because like Lala, our main character, she's like, oh, I don't have a pre-ticket, but for reasons she goes to PriPara and she just gets one. It's like in her hair, and she's like, oh, convenient. Yep. Plot convenient pre-ticket. And I'm like, well, you could have done that a long time ago, girly pop.
Yeah, or rather, they don't even have, like, why did they even introduce the fact that it's hard to go to PriPara? Why can't they just say everyone goes?
Conflict for the first episode, I suppose.
Yeah, that's fine. So what happens is she does not get her ticket, and she's so sad. But it ends up being okay because it is forbidden for elementary school schoolers at her school to go to PriPara. Forbidden! And it's not forbidden by school rules. It is forbidden by the headmistress who...
How are you going to describe her, Sarah? How are you going to describe her?
She is, okay, first of all, she is a MILF, so you do have to understand this.
No! No! Sarah! You can't utter these words in our podcast!
I wanted to say some cursed things. So she has, like, this weird hairstyle that looks like a tornado coming off of, like, half her head.
Mm-hmm.
But
and
she
it goes to the floor.
She do got the big titty and the big hips.
Sarah,
I will just say.
Are these your standards?
No, I just
Will you date anything with big titties?
I wanted to give you a cursed image, Star.
You did. You did, and you've inflicted it not just upon me, but upon our entire audience.
Enjoy,
so I hope you're pleased
everyone.
with yourself.
Takes a bow.
I hope you're happy.
But she is unhinged. Is her personality. Mm-hmm. Her personality is unhinged.
Her personality is villain in a children's TV show.
Yes. She has a second sense to sniff out PriPara tickets, and then she vacuums them up to forbid any elementary schoolers from going for unknown reasons.
Yeah, we never get the sad backstory of why the headmistress hates PriPara. I'm sure we will at some point if we kept watching this show. Feel free to spoil that in our Discords, because I'm genuinely so fucking curious.
Let us know how you feel about the headmistress at PriPara.
Don't say you want to fuck her, because Sarah does, apparently, and she's called dibs.
It's all mine, ladies.
Oh, Lord. But yeah, so that's like one of my things with this fucking show, specifically the first episode. All these kids know... This is another reason why I want to compare it to like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Is all the girls at this school know you're not supposed to have the pretty ticket, like the PriPara tickets. You're not supposed to bring them to school because your headmistress is fucking insane.
Unhinged.
And she will suck them up with her vacuum cleaner and then you will never get them back. So why do people keep bringing them to school?
Well, the reason, Star, is apparently they just get stuck in your hair and on your dog and you don't even realize you have them. They just get attached to you.
There's also, like, okay, so Lala has, like, a best friend character who's a very minor character, didn't even write down her name, but she's like, I got my PriPara ticket yesterday. I sewed this secret pocket into my uniform collar so I could bring it to school, and then she loses it because the fucking principal sucks it up with her big fucking vacuum, and I'm just like, I don't feel sorry for you. What the fuck were you thinking? You know, this is a regular thing. You know this is not allowed.
That sounds like something Mireille would say.
Well, it's something that Star would say, because that is my backstory. I have to loop back into it. My mother was a 4th grade teacher, Sarah.
Did she steal PriPara tickets from her students?
She did not steal PriPara tickets, but it was very much in the rules. It's like, you guys don't bring the trading card games to school. You're not allowed to have those. You can play with them at home, just don't bring them to school. And if you do bring them to school, don't bring them out during class. You're not allowed to have those. It's like, you can have them when you're not here, but don't bring them to school and don't play with them in class. And kids would be stupid and play with them in class, and then my mom would confiscate them, and then at the end of the year, I'd get all their Pokemon cards.
Oh, that's it. I see. So, Star, is your theory that the principal is sucking up all these PriPara tickets so she can have all of them?
I mean, it wasn't, but now it might be.
It may be. Or maybe give them to her child?
Maybe. I can't imagine that this woman has performed procreation. Anyway.
Anyway, so Lala, as we said, she doesn't have a ticket. And she's sad about this, but she's like, I'll get my ticket one day.
And that day is now.
The day is now because as she's walking along, she runs into someone. She finds, I forgot how it happens, but there's a bag full of...
It's just in the road.
It's just in the road. And she opens it up, and it's somebody else's PriPara card. And she's like, oh no, I gotta take this back to the poor girl who lost it.
And she's like, I don't know how to find this person. They might be at PriPara right now.
And they are, and they're about to perform. So she gets, like, pressured by the salesperson, basically, to be like, you're going in now, kid.
Yeah, it's like, here's your PriPara ticket. It's in your hair. Okay, cool. We'll get you registered. Now go into PriPara. There you go. And so now she's in PriPara. She gets her little magical girl transformation. And then she goes to find the person who lost this bag of cards. And it turns out to be our secondary main character, Mireille, my baby.
And Mireille, she has a manager.
Yeah, what's the deal with these guys?
I don't know.
They never explain it.
They're little animal-like fairy things that are managers for the idols.
They're like little plushies that drink not booze.
Yeah. Something that's meant to be merchandise probably later down the line.
Oh, probably.
And he is like, hey, this is Mireille. She needs a partner for this duet competition thing. You gotta sign up.
And Lala's like, I've never sung in front of an audience before. And the thing about Lala is she's a fan of PriPara because, you know, like all the concerts are televised and everything. And so there's this one song that she knows from this famous group of idols that's mentioned earlier in the episode. And Mireille's like, well, do you know this song by this famous unit? And Lala's like, well, I mean, yeah, but I've never sung in front of people before. But she can and she does very well. And I genuinely love Lala's singing voice a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Like, it's not deep, but she's got, like, this kind of lower, she's got a very powerful voice.
Do you know, I have no knowledge of this, I assume her singing voice is a different person, right? Because she sounds different?
I don't know. I haven't looked this up, actually. But I would not put it past a voice actress to just be a total vocal chameleon, honestly.
That's fair. It's just because I know that Iris sings, I didn't know if they also did the voice acting.
I'm pretty sure they do. I think that was like the entire thing. Yeah. No, she does the singing and the voice acting. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, like that's the case for all the members of Iris. Like they sing and they also voice act their characters.
Multi-talented.
Yeah. But no, yeah. So Lala goes on stage and she sings, and she sings with Mireille, and they're just like, wow, that was awesome. We're a duo now. You have to come back tomorrow. And Lala's like, oh no, but I'm going to get in trouble in school. I've done forbidden idling.
The one other thing is we did talk about these PriPara tickets at the beginning. The other thing that happens is like when they go to perform, they scan their tickets and they get their fancy costumes from whatever ticket system. And whenever they become friends, which Lala and Mireille do, they exchange, like, ticket stubs. So...
Very much. Do this with your friends, children, when you go play PriPara at the arcade.
Yep, merchandise.
Yes.
Yes.
God, I want these little cards.
They look
like
cute.
Something. They're, like, very holographic, and they look like a sticker you'd get in the back of, a package of cookies or something.
That's how they get you.
Yeah. Get you. Okay. That's Mireille's little catchphrase, if it wasn't clear. Anyway, so that's episode 1. Episode 2 is basically Lala wants to go back to PriPara real bad, but she's worried she's going to get in trouble at school. And like the manager, the little plushie, his name is Kuma, which is just like he's a little stuffed bear. He like keeps trying to get her to come back.
Yep.
And she's like, no, I can't go back. I can't. It's against the rules. And she like almost gets caught by the principal with her PriPara tickets at school for some stupid reason. Some like contrived reason of, oh, I was so sleep deprived. I accidentally put all my PriPara tickets in my school bag. Womp womp. And so she ends up getting guilted into going again. And like they kind of try to come up with a reason why they're doing the performances in every episode, but a lot of times it's very contrived. You just kind of have to turn your brain off, because like they say, like Murray has an audition and it's a 2-person audition, and if Lala doesn't come, then she's going to be left without a partner, and then she can't do this audition. They never explain what the audition is for. They never say.
Nope.
And most of the time they never. It's like they kind of do, but they kind of don't. It's just, they just have to have the song and dance at the end of every episode. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, when there's not a bad guy to defeat in magical girl form, you just gotta come up with something.
You just gotta come up with something, yeah. But at the end of episode 2, because, like the girls look a little different, but Midday looks very different when she's in PriPara. And then so the two of them, after their performance, they leave PriPara together and then realize, oh shit, I know you, we go to the same school. Oh, because they'd been like interacting out of PriPara up until this point. And Midday's so serious when she's not in her PriPara like mood. You would never have guessed. But no, she comes out and they're like, oh, I know you.
Yep. Moving on through the next few episodes, Mireille is like, yeah, it's not actually like against the school rules to do PriPara. I just don't bring my tickets to school, basically.
'Cause I'm smart, Lala, unlike some people.
And Mireille's like, I'm also very serious about being a god tier idol, which apparently is the highest tier they have.
Yes,
and there's a lot of tiers. It's not just, there's a lot.
Yeah, they're in like student tier right now, and then there's debut tier, and then like there's up until idol or god tier.
You just gotta keep going to the arcade, basically. Ask your parents for more money for the arcade.
Yeah, rack up those tickets. Keep them in a little binder.
So Mireille is like, and because I'm so serious about being a god tier idol, we gotta practice really hard. And Lala, you gotta learn how to be an idol. And they practice. And then Mireille is like, well, Lala, you are having so much trouble being an idol. Why don't you focus on figuring out our making drama? And I'm like, what's a making drama?
So now we gotta explain what a making drama is. So basically, in all of these little performances that they do at the end of the episode, there's something like right after the end of the first chorus, they do like this making drama thing, which is basically just like, it's in universe, in diegesis, it's supposed to be like an idol's feelings getting across to the audience given visual form, which is basically like, in the first couple of episodes, it's just like making drama, and then you see like this like little 10-second thing of them like just walking around, like taking pictures, like we're gonna do dance and acting and singing, and it's just like this cute little thing, and it ends with like a little sparkly thing. It's basically the idol version of a magical girl doing their magical girl attack. But it's just them like doing some little cute idol thing, and it's for storytelling purposes.
And probably another thing they sell.
Probably.
Yep.
And yeah, so ideally, you're supposed to like change the making drama every now and again because it kind of changes the message that you want to get across to the audience. And so Mireille says, you get to come up with our next making drama. That is that's your homework. And Lala's like, I don't know what message I want to tell to the audience. But then she goes home, and Lala's family owns an Italian restaurant.
Yep. They make pizza. They're a pizza company. And apparently they have a regular order for umeboshi pizza. So some pickled plum pizza.
I've only had umeboshi like once or twice, and I did not like it.
I don't know if maybe it would be okay on pizza for.
I wouldn't think so. It's like putting a warhead on a pizza.
Yeah, it's a lot.
They're like really sour.
Yeah, but they entrust Lala to deliver this pickled plum pizza.
And so she goes to deliver it. It's like this very fancy high-rise apartment, and she sees the person who delivers it because she's basically just like on the floor. And And it's just like this girl with like long red hair that's very frazzled. She's like in this tracksuit and she's just like so fucking tired. She's just like, I need my pizza. And I wonder who that could be. Surely not a future important character.
Mystery.
But this is like, it's so silly, and it is genuinely like a thing that I laughed about the first time I watched this show. So basically what what Lala comes up with is, I want to deliver our feelings to the audience like how I delivered that pizza to that weird chick who's definitely not going to be important later. And so their making drama is called Present for You. And it's basically like they do the little making drama. And then during their performance, you see them like unwrap this present box and a pizza flies out. And they're like, here's your pizza. And I'm like, of course the pizza delivery girl comes up with it.
Again, it's such a thing where if I was 10, it would make so much sense.
But see, here's my thing about the pizza. This pizza is my Roman Empire, okay? Because the pizza thing is only relevant in this one episode.
It really is.
And they use the making drama with the pizza for half the fucking season.
Yeah.
Why do they keep using the pizza?
I mean, pizza.
Why is it still a pizza?
Think about you when you were 10 and how great pizza was. Back then, when you couldn't order or make your own food.
Listen, pizza's still good.
I know, but like, especially when you had no control over when pizza happened. It's godlike.
I mean, I guess. But it's just, it's so silly because like the plot of this episode is Pizza Delivery Simulator. And then you're like, okay, she made the making drama. We did the pizza thing. And then the next episode, they use the pizza thing again. And I'm just like, huh?
Yep.
What's with the pizza thing? And when I did my old version of the iDOL panel that we do now, where I used to like show videos and clips from different iDOL anime, I made sure that the PriPara one had to include the pizza.
Let's go.
Because I just had to make cold, dead eye contact with the audience after that video finished. I would just be like, I will not explain the pizza to you. You have to just watch the show.
Let's go. Pizza.
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 But yeah, so that's the conflict of episode 3 resolved. Episode 4, not a...
This doesn't really matter. It's fine.
Yeah, so this is just another one where it's like, oh, stuff happens, there's a conflict, and song and dance at the end, yay. And also the school principal, it's summer vacation, and so Lala's like, I'll be able to go to PriPara uninterrupted, this will be great. And then the fucking Milfy, according to Sarah, superintendent, keeps eating at their family restaurant, and so she like has to hide her shit from the principal. And also there's a tennis... I don't care.
Yay! Episode 5.
Episode 5.
So this is where we start hearing more or learning more about our third character. So, first of all, Mirai and Lala are like, we need to get inspired. Let's go watch Sophie perform. Because Sophie is really hot and happening right now. So they go watch her. And she's great at being idle. She's so refined.
Yes. Oh yeah, so one of the reasons why they go watch Sophie is because their manager has made them aware of this thing called like the iDOL Grand Prix. And he wants them to perform in it, but in order to perform, they need a group of 3, and Sophie's like, oh, we should totally get Sophie to join us, but Sophie's like a way higher rank than they are, and like Lala tries to talk to Sophie, and Sophie's got like this militaristic almost fan club that just like keeps people from interacting with her.
Bodyguards.
Yeah. And so we get another scene of Lala trying to go to Sophie's apartment complex, and coincidentally, it's the same apartment complex where she delivered that pizza a couple episodes ago.
And who's there but Pizza Girl?
Pizza Girl. And so she like helps Pizza Girl get back to her apartment. And then we as the audience see that Pizza Girl is actually Sophie. And when she eats the pickled plums, the umeboshi, she gets like the energy.
Yep.
She gets energy from eating, she calls it Red Flash.
Red Flash.
Red Flash. But she calls it that. And so she just like, she eats her little pickled plums and then she becomes idle mode. she gets the energy. And so whenever she's on stage, she has the umeboshi energy.
Yep.
But yeah, and then kind of at the end of the episode, Murray's like, we should find somebody else to be our third. And Lala's like, no, I really, 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 really want Sophie. And this will continue for the rest of these 12 episodes.
Also, not super relevant in these early episodes, but I imagine if you keep watching, Sophie's sister shows up a lot, and she is clearly an idol just from the way she looks. She has blue hair. She has a catchphrase. She likes space.
Yeah. So we learned later on in this 12 episodes that we watched that she's like a designer. I'm not sure if she's an idol herself.
Oh, maybe.
I'm not sure.
I'm like trying to diagnose what her mechanic would be in the video game.
Who knows? But yeah, episode 6 is another kind of filler. It's not super important episode. The main thing that we learn here is that the girls go over to Murray's house and her parents are a lawyer and a prosecutor. I'm like, oh.
Phoenix Wright.
Ace attorney. That was my takeaway from episode 6.
The other thing about episode 6 that was a big deal is we finally get a new song for them to perform.
Yes. Yes, they get a new song.
It's very like the first one was very idol-y, like standard idol kind of vibe. This is very like poppy, summery idol.
Yeah. I don't like the new song as much. I am also just like a simp for this first song though. It's very iconic PriPara in my mind.
It's also the first song is also the OP, so you really associate it with the show.
Oh yeah. But no, like I think I mentioned this in our last episode, but I really like Iris as an idol unit. I'm not like a super fan. I don't know all their names or anything like that. And I only know a handful of their songs. But when I was feeling sad a few years ago, my main go-to was watching like the dance videos where it was just like a long camera and you could like see the choreography. Because I really like the choreography for all of their songs. And I actually learned one of them for when I was in that dance cover group that I used to do.
Wahoo!
But no, I've always wanted to learn some of the songs from PriPara because the choreography is just so stinking cute.
Yeah.
I love. And yeah, Make It is like which is the first song and also their OP is just kind of iconic, and this one isn't so much.
Yeah, that's
fair. So cute.
It's still very cute.
Yeah, they also get a new making drama that's like theme park themed.
Yes.
But then they go back to the pizza one at the next episode. And I'm like, why is there the pizza again?
I mean, that one makes sense because the next episode does involve Sophie. So going into it, basically they have another concert and Lala runs into Sophie, but in off mode. So she's all like sleepy. And
they call it fancy mode, which I kind of love.
And Lala basically gets from her that she needs some red flash to get energy.
We don't know that this is Sophie yet, or Lala doesn't.
Lala doesn't. We as the audience know. So Lala goes around everywhere trying to find some umeboshi, but can't find it at all. And in the end gets carted away by Kuma, her manager.
Or no, her manager's Usagi. Kuma is our girl's manager.
Well, Lala gets carted away by Kuma. And Lala gets given a bento before her performance.
I guess they both kind of get carted away at the same time because Sophie's fan club confiscates her before anything happens.
Yes. But inside the bento is an umeboshi, and Lala goes back, gives it to Sophie. And I guess giving the food to Sleepy Pizza Girl reminded her of pizza again, so pizza's back on the menu, boys. Let's go.
Yeah, and so at the end of the episode, Sophie actually comes out and greets the girls, and they're like, "Hey, I just watched your performance. It was really good. Here, do you want to exchange friend tickets?" And the girls are like, "Oh, holy shit! What?"
Yeah. So Lala's like, "Hell yeah! This 100% means that Sophie is gonna join us."
Yup. Yup.
Yep.
Episode 8. It's another unimportant episode. It's the pool, it's the beach episode, but it's at the pool instead.
And this is where Lala finally tells her best friend she's an idol.
And the best friend gets upset, and then they resolve it, and then they do an idol song and dance.
Yay!
And that's the episode.
Woohoo!
Episode 9.
Episode 9, they end up in... So this is one where they do a different idol activity than normal, where they're on a variety TV show with a bunch of other idols, and they get randomly paired up, and Lala gets paired up with Sophie, and Lala's like,
Dun-dun.
okay, here's my chance to convince Sophie to join Mireille and I to be idols. And then during the middle of the race, there's a race. They're doing a variety show. There's a race. Sophie all of a sudden loses all her energy, and she goes into Pizza Girl mode, and Lala's like,
Pizza Girl
holy
mode.
shit, Pizza Girl is Sophie.
And yeah, so they have like this little conversation where Sophie's like, people only like me. They only like my onstage personality. If they saw me like this, they'd hate me. Which you find out kind of throughout the next few episodes. It's very much something that's kind of been grilled into her by like her manager and the people around her. It's just like, we can't let people see what she's like when she's in this slob mode because they won't like her. But she just wants people to like her for who she is, and so it's very much like that is Sophie's internal conflict.
But Lala's like, I like you as Sophie and as Sleepy Pizza Girl.
Sleepy pizza.
And Lala's also like, and I'm sure everyone else will like you that way too. You should join me and be in our group.
And Sophie's like, oh yeah, it is this episode. Because then at the end of the variety show, Lala and Sophie's team wins. They actually get to perform together.
They do.
And then after the concert, Lala asks Sophie, hey, do you want to be the third in our team? And Sophie says yes.
She does. She agrees.
Yeah. And then the next episode is confusing.
Yes, the next episode, we undo.
So we undo that, and Kuma, our main girl's manager, says you can only work with Sophie if you can prove that I assumed he meant if you can prove that the three of you will make a good team and do this job together, but then Sophie's not involved in that at all.
No, it's just Lala and Mireille.
It's just a random thing. But yeah, we have like this side tangent about tennis lesbians. It's fine.
It's okay.
So meanwhile, like Sophie wants to try and prove that she can be more independent. She tries to like get to PriPara without other people's help. She gets lost. She takes a blow to her confidence. And then her manager says, he's like, don't worry about joining another team. I've got some other girls that you're going to be joining a team with. So don't even worry about it. And Sophie's like shocked, but she doesn't say anything. And then Lala and Mireille go back to officially like ask her to join their team. And then Sophie says no.
Unfriended.
Dun dun dun. She like hands back the friend ticket that they exchanged in the previous episode, and it's just like, oh my god.
So next episode, Lala is like, what happened? Why did I get unfriended by Sophie? And so she's like, what can I do to make her realize how much I care about her? I know, I'll deliver her some Red Flash pizza. It's pizza time.
Yeah, it's pizza time once again. So they go to Sophie's house with some pizza, but Sophie is not there. Instead, they talk to her older sister, who is like the designer. She's like space themed. She's a character.
And sister just says what happened yesterday, that Sophie took a blow to her confidence, and she's doubting herself and might just follow along with what her manager says, but I'm sure she still really wants to join you guys. Don't worry.
Yeah. And so Mireille says like the rawest shit. She's like, well, listen, if she was willing to give up after failing one time, she wouldn't have made a good member of our team anyway. Tell her I said that. And it's just like, oh, damn. Damn, girl. Damn, girl.
Yep.
I mean, true, but damn. And so Mireille's like, okay, we're probably not going to get Sophie, but the Grand Prix is coming up and we need to find a third member. So they hold like auditions, and it's mostly for gags. But they do meet this one girl named Dorothy, who is an important character later.
Yes. She has short-ish blue hair. She is normal compared to the other people.
Yeah, we don't really get much of her personality in this first arc. We just see her, she shows up, she seems nice, and they're like, hey, she could be our third. Sure, why not? And then we see at the end of the episode, Sophie goes on and does her performance, and her making drama is seeing her stuck in a cage, and there's like a key, but she can't reach the cage. And it's like this very like emo shit.
Yeah.
And the entire audience watching is just like, oh, Sophie, those are her feelings. Those are her emotions. And Lala especially sees it. She's like, she feels like she's trapped. I have to help get her out of the cage. And this sets us up for our last episode that Sarah and I will be watching. But the series continues past it.
So in the last episode, Lala hears from Kuma that Sophie is about to have a new unit ceremony with these two other girls.
They're treating it like a wedding. Like it's wild.
You can't just like quit. Like, are there actual contracts that these like children are getting themselves into?
They sure make it seem that way, but it's less. It's more of like a social contract.
It's
fair. Like if you form a unit and then the unit breaks up, everybody on Twitter's gonna roast your asses, and that's gonna be internet drama, and you don't want that.
Also, you can tell that the two people that Sophie's manager picked for Sophie are bad girls because they only want to be the center of attention and don't care about Sophie at all.
And they're both like higher ranked snotty cat girls. And they have matching names, so you know that they're gonna be the side chicks.
They're New and Mew, and they Nya and they Mew at the end of their sentences. Incredible. Again, if I was 10, I would be eating this shit up.
I know, right?
Takes a drag from my cigarette if I was 10.
If you're 10, this will change everything for you.
And if you're not 10, you'll be like, I'm so not 10 right now.
Like if you're not 10, if you're not 10, you just go online and you watch the dance videos that Iris puts out and you enjoy those.
Like the thing is, I like PriPara. It's just at the same time, it just makes me feel so old because I know if I wasn't old, it would have changed my life. That's the thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
God, I just imagine baby Star watching this. She would have been fucking obsessed.
Yeah, 100%.
Obsessed with this show.
I would have been like, I am Lala. That is me. But I'm just so old.
It's like that one gif of the guy who like ages 60 years in like 2 seconds. That's you. Every time.
Years.
Sarah when PriPara.
But in the middle of this iDOL contract signing press conference ceremony, Lala ends up bonding with one of Sophie's bodyguards because Sophie's bodyguards really care about Sophie, and Lala really cares about Sophie, and those two mean cat girls don't care about Sophie. So they sneak Lala in. And right when their contract is about to be established by them exchanging the cards...
it's so dramatic.
It looks like a cult ceremony. I don't know.
It looks like the PriPara version of a wedding, but yeah, also kind of culty. Like they've got their they each have one of their own friend tickets in their hands, and they cross their arms and they hold them up to the sky, and they go to like do a triangle like 3-way exchange of the tickets, and you see like in slow motion the tickets passing from hand to hand, and then Lala's just like, no. And then she, like, runs on the stage, and she's like, Sophie, is this really what you want to do? Follow your heart! And then she gets, chased off the stage and thrown out. But then Sophie's like, no, this isn't what I want. And so then she becomes the runaway bride, and she's running away. And the fan club doesn't try to stop her. The fan club tries to help her. And Sophie's like, aren't you my fan club? You're not going to try and stop me? And they're like, we're here for you, Sophie, not what your manager says you have to do. And so Sophie runs, but then she runs out of energy, and she goes into pizza mode, which I guess is what we're calling it.
Pizza girl mode.
And I'm so surprised that no one is able to stop her once she gets out of this room because she's going so slowly. She's literally following a trail of tickets that Lala left on the ground.
It's just because her bodyguards are incredible. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. They're just like beating like people with tennis rackets, and it's incredible to watch. But yeah, so she goes and she finds them, like, as Lala was being pushed out, she's like, meet us on the 11th floor. And so Sophie's able to find her way to the 11th floor, and then she sees the other two, and then they do the friend ticket exchange ceremony with themselves, and everybody's like, yep, that's legally binding, so now Sophie can't join this other group. And then her asshole manager, who's like a little stuffed rabbit, is just like, no, what the fuck? And then they all go on and perform as a trio. And yay!
They're making drama. Is Lala and Mireille. Sophie's still in the cage, but they get a giant key and they open the cage up and free her, and they soar into the sky.
Yes. Symbolizing that Sophie has been freed from her evil rabbit manager.
And I will admit, I did watch a little bit of the next episode. Just because
you did?
Like, I did. Just because I looked at the Wikipedia summary of the episodes, and I'm like, the next episode, I'll just watch it, see what happens, because it's where they name themselves. And I'm like, why is this their name? So in the next episode, it's them trying to figure out how they all get along, right? Feeling a little left out, but then each of them finding out they have their own benefits to the iDOL group with the help of a fan, right? Quick summary. And so they end up coming up with their iDOL group name, which for me, I was like, it's Salami Smile.
Salami.
Salami Smile. But the Solami is the beginning of each of their names. So, like the first syllable, Solami Smile. And this is time, Star, for my revelation, which all of you can listen for, because we are about to get into our October episode, which is when my wife rises from her grave. And the three of us, me, Athena, and Star, we do have our iDOL unit name, which is Tina.
Are you going to tell them about our secret group chat name?
Everyone gets to know our secret group chat name.
That is,
it's
in
our
fact,
iDOL
the first
unit
letter
name.
of each of our names.
It's our iDOL unit name.
Athena, Sarah, and Star. Together we form
Team Ass. So maybe what I am saying is Solami an alternate version of us if we were 10?
That is all of us if we were 10.
I'm just saying.
Okay, so
girl.
if you're Lala, listen, you can be Lala, I'll be Mireille, and then Athena can be Sophie, and honestly, I think it works.
It actually works really well as a thing.
Honestly, it works, though. Because Athena's hair has been that color, right?
Yep, bright red hair.
It's been red. I don't know if it's been that, like, exact shade of reddish pink, but it's been red and about that length,
And
so.
she likes pickled things.
Confirmed. Confirmed. Team ass confirmed for PriPara. Let's go.
I'm just saying, if we were 10, it would be our
If we were 10.
If we were 10, this would be our personalities.
It so would be. Like, I would not have had a Tokyo Mew Mew phase. I would have straight up had a PriPara phase.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing. It's like, when I say I feel old, I'm not saying, like, I feel too old to watch this. It's more of, like, it reminds me of how old I am, because if I was 10, it would have had such a big impact on me.
Like, I would have been looking at the fucking wikis, like, looking at all the cute outfits and drawing characters in those cute outfits. Because, like, you know me, I love a cute outfit, and I love fucking drawing cute outfits, and that's, like, all I drew when I was a kid was, like, cute girls and cute outfits. This would have been so my shit.
Especially when I was younger, my grandma would go to Japan, like, every year to see her family, and, like, I would always be like, bring this stuff home for me. If I was into PriPara, I would make her go get these stupid tickets for me at the arcade.
Absolutely.
It would have been my personality, 100%. But yes, my revelation is Solami, Sarah, Star, Athena, Team Ass, Team Salami.
Team Ass. No. But no, like, Sarah, the Prism Stone stores actually exist. I'm finding a picture that I can send to you.
Yep.
These are all very small images, but I need to, like, see what kind of shit they sell. It's all, like, PriPara stuff. But it's like the PriPara store, but they call it Prism Stone. It's the same name as the store in Universe. And I would see these in the malls in Tokyo that I would go to occasionally.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you. Get you.
That's how they got you.
That's how they got you, yeah. But no, so we do see just a little continuing onward just a little bit. I haven't really watched past this point, but I do know that Dorothy, the blue-haired girl, she's actually also a twin. And the twin is pink, so they're pink and blue twins. Cross that off your trope list.
Yep.
And they end up teaming up with a third girl whose name is Shion, who I have not watched any episode she features in, but she's my favorite character based solely on the fact she's got a big old ponytail, she's purple, and she has the deep singing
Star
voice that I love.
likes the deep singing voices.
I love the deep singing voices. I love it. Oh my god.
So presumably my guess is they start as a rival group and they turn into their friends. It's probably what happens.
Yeah. I also, I don't know full details on this, but I know that, like, I think one of the twins is actually, like, I don't know how this plays out. I don't know if it's, like, actually good representation or not, but I think, like, one of the twins is actually, like, a boy, but they dress like a girl. And it's, like, a whole thing. We have, like, one of those arcs in the story. I think it's the pink one, but I'm not sure. I haven't actually watched the episodes. I've just heard whispers on the wind.
A mystery.
Yeah, for people to fight over. It's like, is this transgender representation? And, you know, like, the shit people will be like, oh, no. And then Lily from Zombieland Saga says, shut the fuck up, TERF.
Yeah. So, again, Star and I don't know anything about the rest of PriPara, the series, so you guys are all welcome to, like, link us stuff. Yeah, especially for characters we don't know about and arcs we don't know about. And the big thing is if there's any, like, specific episode arcs of PriPara or other long-running shows where you're like, hey, watch these, like, 12, 13 episodes and you'll get a whole story arc. Let us know.
Yes. Because I know the other really big one is Aikatsu.
Yep.
And I have watched a decent amount of that one. I've watched more Aikatsu than PriPara because Aikatsu is just, like, so simple that I could just have it on my... It was like, you know, it's never been in English as far as I know. But the Japanese was so basic, I could just pop it up on my iPad next to my computer and just, like, glance at it every couple of minutes. And I could have a general idea of what was going on. And I watched, like, I think 30 episodes of that. But that one does not have as clear defined a story as this one did. And so it's hard to say, like, when to stop watching. Because I remember a lot of the a lot of the Aikatsu episodes being very samey.
Yeah. So I guess if there's single episodes where any of you all want us to watch, or if there's, like, even an arc in the middle of the show, which makes sense, just give us feedback in our Discord on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this was, like, our first time attempting a longer show, but again, we just watched, like, the first 12 episodes. There's more, and I've, like, seen some of the other characters. There's another character whose name escapes me, but I'm just, as we're talking about this, I remember that there is another character who has, like, a very deep voice. I think their name's, like, Hibiki or something? Let me check. Because I just remember who's, like, this fucker. Oh my god, I just got a flashback. Look at this bitch. Look at this character. Is that not star-coded?
Wow, what a star character.
I know!
Especially the outfit, too, honestly.
You know I like the princey ones. You know I love the princey ones. And she's got, like, the really deep voice.
Wow. Star character.
Star character! But I don't think they show up. Yeah, makes her first appearance in episode 57.
Well, that's so many episodes.
Oh my god.
And not even all of them.
God, I'm having flashbacks now to my, like, I did have a small PriPara. I wouldn't call it, like, a full PriPara phase, but, like, I got into, like, watching the videos from the show. It wasn't too long after the height of my Idolmaster obsession.
It would make sense considering when PriPara came out too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess any final thoughts on PriPara? Because we kind of covered all of it already.
Yeah, I think overall, self-inserting our younger selves in. I think it was cute. I'm 100% not the target audience for it. At least not as I am today, visibly ages and turns into dust. But it was fun,
It's
and
been
it was
84
cute.
years.
Yes. And again, the animation is really impressive for the time period, especially the 3D lives. So
Yes.
it holds up really well, even if you want to just go in and watch performances of, like, again, the Iris has live performances online, but you can also watch a lot of the PriPara performances online, and they hold up really well.
Yeah, you can just like look up PriPara character name and you can see like people have uploaded like just the song and dance portions to YouTube in a lot of cases. And so I was just like watching a couple before we started recording and I'm just like, this brings me back.
Wow. What about you, Star?
remember
What are
this.
your thoughts?
I kind of, like I said, if this was in English, I would just like have it on in the background. It gives me similar vibes. So like if you like shows like, oh gosh, what's the magical girl show with 1,000,000 seasons?
There's so
Pretty
many.
Cure.
Oh, yeah.
If you like stuff like Pretty Cure, you would love this. This is like Pretty Cure if it was idols.
Yeah.
So honestly, like similar vibes, similar merchandising. It's the Yu-Gi-Oh! Of idol anime.
Yes.
But no, it's like if you just want something like very sweet, very candy-coated, very like not hard to watch, there you go.
Wahoo! So, Star, do we want to talk about what we're watching next?
Yeah, I think you should because you were the one who pitched it.
So, because we will be watching these together, for the month of October, we are not going to have our typical Cursed Idol October where we pick an idol anime that looks really crappy and watch it because we don't necessarily want to make you all have to go through that with us. But we are going to pick one that I don't know if it's necessarily cursed in concept, but it is cursed in the fact that it is spooky because it has a ghost. So we're going to watch Phantom of the Idol together.
Dun,
Dun, dun, dun, dun, dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun,
dun.
dun.
And I will be bringing my wife. She will rise from the grave, and the three of us will cover Phantom of the Idol at the very beginning of November, but you all can watch it throughout October with us.
It's Athena season.
Spooky season.
I'm excited.
Dun 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 dun.
Dun 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 dun. But yeah, so that will be our next episode. It's going to come out at the very beginning of November, but that's basically the spooky month hangover anyway.
Yeah.
We have to fight off Christmas with a broom.
And you all, again, the reason why we're doing it this way is because we do have watch-alongs in our Discord. So for you all who are not part of our Discord, we really encourage you to join, look at the discussion threads. Even if you can't watch the show, if you read the premise and you're like, tell me what happens about this, we could say, like, sure, we'll tell you if there's any Phantom of the Opera references. And
Da 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 da. Probably not. I think that's just the
Probably not.
localized title.
It likely is, because it has nothing to do with, well, I mean, it has to do with music, but not musicals. Not Andrew Lloyd Webber. It's not like that other idol anime Cats.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, last spooky month I did watch a show that was basically Cats the anime, but instead of cats, it was vampire idol boys.
It's true. It's true.
We talked about this. I went back and re-listened to that episode recently just because I was thinking about it.
So Star, if people want to find our Discord, where can they find the link for it?
You can find the link in the description, depending on where you are observing our podcast. And we highly enjoin folks to join our Discord. We are getting close to 100 members over there. We're pretty chill. It's not like an overwhelming server, just to hang out with idol fans and you can get notifications about the series. If you want to find us elsewhere online, Sarah, where can they go?
We are on some social media as @IdolDaysPod, so IDOLDAYSPOD. And we also, if you're listening on a podcasting app or a music playing app like Spotify or Apple Music, we are also on YouTube. So we really encourage you to subscribe to us there. Eventually, if we get enough subscribers, we can get enough ad revenue for hopefully us, getting a couple dollars for me to pay for my idolluminati.net website.
And your Crunchyroll
and my Crunchyroll subscription.
Yeah, so we're getting close. We're at we've passed 700 followers on the YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com /@IdolDaysPod.
Wahoo!
Wahoo! And there will be a link to that also in the description, depending on where you're watching the episode.
So we hope you all have a fun and spooky October.
Ooh.
This has been iDOL Days. We've been Lady.
We've been Lady.
See you next live. Bye.
Bye.
I'm so old, Star.
I know.